Hello, hello, hello. We're going to give y'all a little late night. Come on in and join us for a little conversation. Go ahead and share this. It may be not just a blessing to you, but a blessing to others. We're just having a conversation on in what ways can we make each other better. And we began to talk about, for me, it's the peace. It's the peace of being able to be myself, the peace within this relationship that allows me to move with freedom, without restrictions. And so, when we're making each other better, the factor, again, for me is peace.
Peace.
Yes, peace, peace, peace. You never realize how much peace means until you exit a situation, whether it's a relationship, a job, a business, and you find peace. When Jaden was real little, I always used to tell him, the enemy comes to steal your peace. But you have to give the enemy the authority and the power to take that peace. Because once God give us something, it is God's presence that bring peace. Now, it's up to us to give it away. And I believe in any relationship, peace should be the major factor.
Yeah.
If that person isn't bringing a certain level of peace, then you better be very watchful.
Yeah. And I remember vividly how much peace I personally had, but I know we talked about it back and forth about how much peace we really had. Just kind of going through that process. It was like perfect ease. And you're right. It's kind of like that old additive when it says, you never know what you miss until it's gone or just never having it. And so definitely peace is one of those same components for me that I do just remember having and still have to this day. And just being able to have a level of peace is priceless, really. It's priceless because when you think about what peace does, man, it takes the pressure off.
It takes the pressure off.
I mean, it's no pressure. It takes the pressure off. And we alluded to this before early on when we started these types of dialogues as far as with no pressure. It's like the no pressure zone. Your book, Protecting Your Pearls, definitely talked about that in your book as well. But no pressure, and that's what peace does, because it's no pressure. Just let things flow, let things go the way they should go, and just be you.
Just be you. We were talking a couple of seconds ago, and it just came to me, that God loved us so much that he took the pressure off. There is no pressure on us to receive Christ. There is no pressure on us to walk in his word. He took the pressure off. He said, choose this day whom you will serve. He didn't say you better serve me.
Yep.
He didn't say you're going to serve me. And when we put that type of pressure in a relationship and on people, what we do is we suffocate the real them.
Yeah.
And they can't be who they are, and then we can't make a conscious, a intellectual decision if we truly want to be with that person or not. Because if I'm suffocating, if your pressure is suffocating the real me, and I'm around here cooking and cleaning because I know that's what makes you happy, when I get with you, now I can be the real me, and I can stop cooking, and I can stop cleaning. And so I really believe that is a huge issue in a lot of relationships. We try to create the person we want versus letting people be who they are, and then we have to now make a conscious decision. Is this somebody we want to be with?
Yeah. And that pressure, as you talked about, what it also does, it keeps you from knowing who that person actually really is when you apply so much pressure. And so the goal is to really allow that person to blossom, allow that person to just be exactly who they are. And so then you're able to discern and determine if there's somebody that I want to continue to be around or not. And we can apply these same types of principles in most every situation.
Absolutely.
Every type of relationship whatsoever. Because the goal is to really find out exactly who are you? Who is this person? And so when you're talking about making each other better, that peace, taking the pressure off, is priceless.
It is priceless. I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't have expectations.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't set boundaries and you don't set standards. Once you set your boundaries, God gives us expectations, but God still gives us a free will. Now, we will suffer some consequences if we don't live up to those expectations, but God isn't with a finger pointing, you better. He is telling you, when you do this, these things can happen.
Yeah.
And when you do that, these things can happen. And so I do believe peace is a huge factor. It's sometimes it is not. A lot of times people feel like when the peace is awkward, when the peace is not there, oh, I gotta fight for it. I have to fight for it. Maybe this is God showing me to fight for it. No, God gives us peace. Even during turbulent times, he gives us peace. He said, I will give you a peace that would surpass your own understanding. So if you are in a relationship and there's no peace, 9 times out of 10, God isn't a part of it. 9 times, because God is the Prince of Peace.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't mean a person is perfect just because you have peace.
Yeah.
You will have peace even with the imperfections because God is a part of it.
Yes.
Neither one of us were perfect going into the relationship, but because God had given us the divine approval and he had given us peace with him and peace with one another, the imperfection did not outweigh the peace.
Yeah.
When the imperfections outweigh the peace, you got a problem on your hands.
Oh, that's big. That's real big. And I love the fact that he gives us the choice. You know, even he gives us the choice to choose.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the things to where he gives us that pressure button. Hey, press this button to pressure. There's no pressure. Here are the boundaries. Here are the things ways in the way that you need to operate within this structure. But at the end of the day, you got to choose.
Yeah.
You got to choose of who you are. You got to choose of what you want to do. No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and you know, we talked about that pride thing too.
Oh,
you know,
man.
I truly believe that when there's no peace, pride is somewhere lurking.
Oh man.
When there's no peace in your relationships, pride is somewhere lurking because knowledge puffs up, right? And a lot of times when people want to know it all and when people have to be in control of everything, that is a sense of pride, and pride would keep you from peace. Pride would keep you from peace. So we have to just be careful of certain things when we're trying to make each other better, and not just in relationship. If you're in business with someone, if it's a church that you go to, if it's a community situation that you're dealing with, if we're going to make each other better, humility is a must. And many people don't want to humble themselves because they want to always be right. You know, we're living in a season. I did a live yesterday. We're living in a season that not many people can be corrected. How are you going to get better going along thinking that 5 + 5 is 15 and people are afraid to tell you that 5 + 5 is really 10? How are you going to get better when you can't be corrected?
Because we, you know, the way I see it also, and you're so right, we are living continuously in a world where there is so much information that's out there. And just like you mentioned, knowledge puffs up. And so that is a scriptural principle that says, you know, when you have so much knowledge, if you're not careful, you're going to be puffed up. And so we're living in an age where there is so much information out there. Google this, Google that, look on social media, look at all this information. And so what this information does, if you're not careful, it attaches itself to you to where now it makes you feel like, I know it all, I'm God, and it's puffing you up. And now humility is completely and continuously dissipating, really. And so the word says, pride comes before a fall. We've heard that, and we hear that continuously over and over again. And so anything that connects itself with the word pride, I just cannot, when I think about the word pride, you know, that is something that I know God does not like. That is something that is totally opposite of humility when you think of it. And look at Lucifer himself. He was a very prideful individual that literally fell out of heaven. And so we have to look at those particular principles and look at those learning components to where we can take and apply those to ourselves, because even in relationships, we have to have a spirit of humility. And what is humility? It's saying that, you know what, I may be right, but at the end of the day, let me allow you the opportunity to share your knowledge, share where you are without me feeling like I gotta be in control.
Yeah. And at some point, there's going to be authority.
Yeah.
We have authority all around this world, but true leadership is not about control. True leadership is about service. True leadership is about humbling yourself, because you will have no following if you are that control freak and people don't trust you. People do not want to adhere to you because you're filled with pride. So from the home to the White House to the community house, we have to learn to humble ourselves, because that's how we're going to make each other better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to hear from you, and I want you to be able to hear from me. And then humility says, dang, I was wrong on that.
Yeah.
The way you just explained that to me, I was wrong the whole time. You know, we have so many people who have been shut out of so many things, and social media has given every person on the face of this earth with an email address access to individuals, platforms. And you know what has happened is there was a time where when you were around knowledgeable people, and if they didn't agree with you because it was actually wrong, you had nowhere else to go, right? Now you can find someone
to agree.
I don't care if it's a donkey online. You are going to be able to find someone to agree with you. And that's scary.
Very scary.
Because I don't want anyone to agree with me just because they're trying to go against the grain. I want someone to agree with me because I am right.
That is such a point you just made. I was just thinking about it, you know, back in the days growing up, before all of this social media moved, within a home, you always have that kid. I was that kid at one point to where with my mom and dad, if I didn't like something that they said, what I'm going to do, go now to the dad to hope he gets on my side. And so that's that whole component to where you're trying to find somebody to agree with you now, with all of the access of everyone else's opinion that may have a similar thought or opinion of you, you can now allude to that person, and now
that's a scary place.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Not just a scary place. It is a dangerous place, because that person who has holes in their soul that's agreeing with your wrong is leading you, and you both are headed for destruction. And who's gonna be able to help the other person? Iron sharpens iron. There's no way we're going into the forest cutting down one tree with a dull axe. Iron sharpens iron, and if we're gonna go cut down some things, we got to make sure our saw is sharpened. And even back in the day, if you can say your mom, your dad, right? I would go to my aunts.
Right. Wow.
Okay, so y'all tripping. I know who I can go to. I'm going to talk to my auntie. I'm going to talk to my cousins about this. But you know something? Back then, right was right.
Right was right.
And wrong was wrong. And when I went to talk to a cousin and said how my mom was tripping and how she took my car, well, Sheikah, you know your mom gave you rules. And I got to tell you straight up, you're wrong. Nowadays, we have people who are rebellious and lawless, and all it takes for you to say is they're judging me. They think they're better than me, and you're going to have a heap of people who feel rejected agree with you even though you're wrong. That's a dangerous place. Don't agree with me when I'm wrong. Don't agree with me when I'm wrong.
We have so many more people today than yesterday to where we're broken, because now you're going to people and confiding in them to want them to be on your side with something that you're wrong about, but they're broken themselves. And so now they can't even determine what's truth, because now if they tell you something that they should be doing, now they got to look at their own life and say, well, wait a minute. So, we're living in that time. We're living in that time now to where no one wants to accept truth. No one wants to humble themselves. And that, to me, is really just that spirit of pride, really.
It is the spirit of pride. And to your point, if I say to you, you're wrong, you need to go apologize. But I don't feel that I owe that person I wronged an apology.
There you go. Yeah. So now you're going to tell me something
contrary. Then I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, because it's going to make you look bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, listen up, guys. We are here to make each other better. We're here to make you better. No big I's and little U's. We are here because we feel that it is our God ordained purpose. This is one of our assignments to minister, to talk, to reach those, and just help you to think on some things. Just coming up with just little topics to help you to contemplate just life in general, because we all deal with life. If you're not dealing with a blended family, you're dealing with your original family. If you're not dealing with family issues, you may be dealing with issues on a job or in a business. You may be dealing with issues at church or in a community. We want to bring certain topics to you. We want to give our thoughts, and we want to give biblical principles that we feel coincide with those topics, and we want to hear from you. We want to encourage you. This is not a time for us just to preach at you. We want to talk with you and see what you guys think as well. So we didn't want to keep you long, but we just wanted to show our face. We're working on something, so definitely stay tuned for some exciting news that we have, and continue to tune in when we come on and share this message.
Absolutely. And thank you guys definitely for tuning in. And sorry we have not been on it consistently, but we're back at it. She's blaming on me.